You're beautiful, you know, she remarked, making delicate passes along his inner thighs. Such a sweet figure, broken bar, almost feminine, if you'll pardon me. The curve of your hips and thighs is positively hourglass. See what those vicious brutes have done? But don't worry. When I have healed you, you shall be lovelier still. Irresistibly so. That feels good, does it not? She asked, as she teasingly stroked the erection that his numbness had somehow failed to suppress. Yes, darling. So good, broken bar, and it can get so much better. Slowly, she descended, and began kissing his stomach, his thighs, and his taut manhood, which she proceeded to take into her cold, wet mouth. Her lips, tongue, and teeth all cooperated in stimulating him to an intense climax, although his pleasure was slightly compromised by the sight of blood upon her lips and canines as she drew away from him, with a euphoric expression. Deftly and sensuously, she removed her light, lacy black dress and panties, climbed upon the bed, and came astride him, her glistening wet vagina directly over his mouth. "Drink deeply, my poor pilgrim," she whispered, not that he needed any encouragement. Her beauty and the sweet feminine scent would have been quite sufficient. Even so, it was an effort of will for him to move even his tongue, but it seemed that the more he tasted of her nectar, the easier it became for him to move. His tongue explored deeper and more eagerly, while the lady encouraged him with little gasps and moans of all too dignified delight, which seemed almost a challenge for him to reduce her to an uncontrollably emotional orgasm. He redoubled his efforts, broken bar, and how much easier they now seemed. He still felt weak and dizzy, but his powers of movement and sensation were almost wholly restored, and his arousal was positively through the roof. He raised an arm, intending to touch her lovely, statuesque breasts, but was paralyzed anew at its appearance. It was no longer bruised, which was an obvious plus, but nor was it recognizably his arm, which was rather less promising. It was too slender, and the hand that had joined it was too dainty by far. Noticing his confusion, the lady gave an airy laugh, and shifted from her pleasant station to lie alongside him, thus affording him a clear view of his broken bar of her body. Nikolai stared in bewilderment at her clear, undamaged skin, her perfect breasts, and her moist vagina, throbbing in anticipation. Then she laughed, broken bar, or rather she giggled, in a somewhat drunken fashion, while her partner looked on, benignly as ever. "In dreaming, aren't I?" she theorized aloud. "Those bastards have gone and beaten me unconscious, or into a coma, worse luck. And would you care, my sweet Nicoletta, if you were never to wake up from this dream?" "Hell no." She laughed again. "Dream up, they can drip feed me for the rest of broken bar." "Oh," was the best conclusion she could manage, as the fair lady's mouth descended once more between her legs. As she licked, nibbled, and thoroughly explored Nicoletta's sweet virginity, her lover was less restrained than she had been in expressing her delight. Nicoletta cried, gasped, even doubted her ability to bear so much pleasure, and eventually exploded in an outpouring of joy, broken bar, and of clarity. Her first climax as a woman was too real an experience to be denied, and confusion and despair clouded her joy. As she broke down in tears, the lady embraced her, and spoke soothingly. "I'm sorry, darling. Truly I am, but there was little else I could do. The state you were in, you could have died, and there are no others I could have called upon for aid. All I could do was make you as I am, and since that had to be, do not hold it against me that I made of you such a companion as I could love wholeheartedly. Is that such a terrible thing for you? Your pleasure just now, my lovely Nicoletta, was real enough. My brother and sister broken bar, they know. They know that you came here tonight. Yes, darling, but you needn't worry about that either. Should Andrei and Michal follow you here, I shall deal with them no more cruelly than I have dealt with you, broken bar, my beloved.